Hello and welcome to the Johnny Tripod Happy Hour. I'm your host, Johnny Tripod, and you're listening to KTLC, the Lost Church Free Radio. Tune in the first Wednesday of every month at 5 p.m. Pacific Time for a new episode of my show, and then every Wednesday after that for a rebroadcast. This month's episode, we're going to dive down into what I call the Johnny Deep tracks. We're going to go a little deeper than my huge pop hits that you might be familiar with, and kind of into some of the weirder stuff. A lot of it is 4-track and 8-track stuff from the past. Just some stuff that's maybe a little more unusual, a little odder, but deserve to have their time in the sun. So let's start off with I think the only song I've written about a villain, super monster thing. This one's called Fang Man.
He hangs by his teeth, a sinister surprise, holes of desertion where once dwelt his eyes. No hope for you now. Pray if you can. You're cordially invited to the hell of Fang Man.
There, I track you down, I slice your balls, roll them on the ground, pound, I grab your head, crush it like a vice. Yeah, it's kind of messy, but it sure tastes nice. As a child, we lived out there, far away from sunny skies. Sewer rats to help him grow, putrid shit was his mud pie. Around and wander by, thinking of someone to tell your lies. You hear a sound, but it's too late. I think I found my dinner date. It's been too long, it's been a while since last I tasted putrid bile. Too bad you had no time to think, no blood I'd rather have to drink. In the dark he grew up strong, learned to hate his fellow man, killed and ate all he could find. To fall in love was not his plan.
Panic is gripping the city. Army units have been called out but have been ineffective against the monster from the depths. Hopelessness grips the populace. Oh Lord, lead us through the valley of shadows.
Now he's come to seize the day, to take all that he's longed to see. He can't be stopped by mom or dad. He's coming after you and me. I've tasted what it's like up here. I love the smell of death and fear to make the streets a gushing red. The pretty people will all be dead. They made me what I am today. With my teeth, I'll make them pay. Hey, my name is Fang Man. How do you do? I'm coming after all of you. said I missed you. It must be heaven calling. I've got no one inside me. She leaned against the fence post. You cannot know, you cannot. You cannot know, you cannot. He felt the fire crawl down him. It must be raindrops falling. I've got no one beside me. He leaned against the fence post. You cannot know, you cannot. You cannot know, you cannot. She said I missed you. It must be heaven calling. I've got no one inside me. She leaned against the fence post. You cannot know, you cannot. You cannot know, you cannot.
That was Plane Crash from my first album, Endowment. That was recorded on a 4-track way back in 89 or 90. My friend Dennis and Carrie's house in Boulder Creek, which I've talked about before. That was one of the very, very first things I think I ended up recording. And it was just Dennis on bass and Byron on drums. So just a 3-piece. Recorded live, just kind of hashing it out, kicking it out in the studio room that we had. Yeah, so just a lot of fun. I like the dynamics of that, how I had come up, with the 2-chord, pretty intro part or verse part. And then somehow it just morphed into just kind of a relentless second part of it. And then it all breaks down in what I ended up calling a plane crash. And then comes back in again with the pretty part. So yeah, it's youthful energy is what it ended up being. So I like that. And then before that, you heard Extra Virgin, which was from my second album, I'm Gonna Have You Fired / I'm Gonna Have You Killed. I think I'd been listening to a lot of Brave Combo at the time, which was a Texas band that did a lot of instrumentals and salsas and tangos, but they also did well-known covers. But somehow I got the idea I wanted to do a clarinet song. And clarinet is the first instrument I knew. I started playing that in the 4th grade and all the way through high school. But then I just kind of gave it up after that, only periodically pulling it out for a song. And I just kind of wanted something that was kind of high energy, and just showcased the clarinet. So I just put down a really simple drum track and a bass line, and then for the most part just doubled the clarinet, but then had some weaving lines in and out. So that was my attempt at a clarinet instrumental, and we started this set off with my villain superhero monster track called Fangman, which, I don't see why that wouldn't work in the DC or Marvel universes. Yeah, it was sort of the flip side of, say, a Batman thing. So it's kind of villain, like Joker or Riddler or whatever. But some sort of horrible beast had ended up being down in the sewers below the city and was terrorizing the population. But there was no response to it. There was no superhero to take Fangman down. So he was just running rampant, destroying and eating and slaughtering people. So that was my attempt with that, and I started it off with that. I don't know, like a poem or something like that, which I thought was ridiculous. And I especially like the TV broadcast in the middle of the song, that was crying out to the population that there was no hope left. I think that's hilarious, and somehow that all came together on a 4-track. So that was my villain track for you. Living in Seattle, I started doing some musical scores for some art pieces that friends were doing, especially my friend Mary. She would make these big art productions, installations, and when we showed them in public, like on Friday Streets, that kind of thing, sometimes I would record pieces that then we would just play on a loop, because these would go for hours, something to go along with either the art or the performance that was going on. So I have a few of those here. The first one is called 3 Graces at the Beach. That last track is called Gone. I wrote that to accompany my friend in Seattle, Sierra. She was, believe, she was reading some poems of hers, and she wanted some instrumental music in between them. And so I at least wrote one here. I can't quite remember the performance. And I wanted something pretty, and I kind of wanted it to be wistful in some sort of way, a melancholy feeling. So I started that on the acoustic guitar, and then I found a really nice organ sound, kind of almost like a flute, but on some crappy keyboard. I think it was my first Sony. No, it was a different one. Anyways, just something, and it's amazing how some of those cheaper instruments, and they have very few sounds, but the ones that they make can be really, really effective. So I really liked how those two went along with a little bit of percussion here and there. So I played that along between the poems that she was reading. And before that, we had my score from my friend Christine's film that was called Cage Decor. She had filmed around a 4-minute black and white film, very striking, with narration over it. And she wanted just instrumental music underneath it all. And so I wrote something that was very eerie and kind of atmospheric to fit what she was throwing on the screen. And I think we both really liked how that came out, both the piece by itself and then how it worked with her film. So that was called Cage Decor Score. I think I put some backwards guitar on that, glockenspiel, of course, which kind of anchored the whole thing. I think that was my first real attempt at a film score. And before that, we had my piece from my friend Mary's art installation called Three Graces at the Beach. And she had three of her friends dress up as the Greek goddesses, the Three Graces. She had created like a rectangle with grass and leaves and flowers, and some. I think we had some sand. Probably brought some sand from Golden Gardens in Seattle. And so as if the Three Graces were in essence taking a little vacation from their job, and were just lounging and enjoying themselves. And so I just kind of put that piece underneath it, like I said, on a loop as it went for an hour or two during the performance during one of Seattle's Friday streets. My friend Don came up with a musical project for our group of friends who were all living down in the Central Valley of California, in Selma, and maybe Dawn was in Fresno at the time. I can't quite remember, but she proposed that we all, each of us, write a song based on the element water. And then she followed it up a year or so later, I think, with the theme of the element of fire. So we had two different projects separated by some time. And so I'm going to play the two tracks that I wrote for those two projects. So the first one, based on water, is called The Island. And the second one, based on fire, is called Lonesome Town.
see it way over there. I'm sure it's a plane up in the air to take us home, to take us away. I know that I can't last another day. The sun has come out, there are lots to eat. A coconut pie will be such a treat. Lovely lagoons and fish that will bite. On chilly evenings we'll hold each other tight. When do you think that we'll be home? I just can't stand it here alone. No one to talk to, no one to see. How can I stand this life of misery? I'm happy, desperate. I'm happy, I'm desperate. What a fine day! I must get away. I'm happy, I'm frantic. I'm happy, I'm frantic. It's too good to be true. What will I do? I love it here, why should we go? The sand is warm, I hate the snow. The sky is blue, the air is mild. I'm thinking of names for our first child. Why do you stand there looking at me? Help me climb to the top of this tree. Perhaps I will see a boat or a ship, something to put an end to this horrible trip. Build a house with lots of room, a nursery for your fertile womb. I see we are, there is no end, marooned alone with no one for a blessed. You and me, sitting together, happy as can be. I look at you and tell you what I see. A perfect night can only be one where I've got some wood on fire. I go to find a man with wood for hire. I need enough to make a funeral pyre. He said, I've got just what you need, but be sure to take care. I'll tell you once in order to be fair. It's plain to see you have no hair to spare. The wood I've got gets hot, so hot, just be sure. Hot, so hot, just be sure to beware.
and know that love is near. I know I got to pull off your clothes and pull you to the floor. It's not enough, I want you more and more. I forgot I've got to lock the door. We don't want that creepy neighbor to be waltzing in. I've seen him look at you with eyes of sin. I know you're right, we've talked enough of him. But the funny thing is I smell smoke, it must be. Smell smoke, it must be. Oh my Lord, we've set the together, worried as can be. I look around, but I cannot believe the things, the people I see. It seems so sad to want the best of things. Was that so bad? We lost our house, we lost the friends we had. They say it's driving us mad. A little thing like fire illuminates the faces no one will hire. I hear the wind, it whispers like a choir. Leave us here to force us to retire in Lonesome Town.
That was my song, Lonesome Town, from the album Wallingford. So that was my track. That was my song based on fire for the project that we did. Yeah, I think that changed while I was writing it. I kind of wanted that bass hook thing, and it was just it was kind of a little funny, a couple of lovers building a fire in their house and getting the wood for it, and blah blah blah. Creepy guy next door. And then I wanted to, like I did actually in the previous song, The Island, a really huge dynamic change, kind of nice and eerie and steady. And then I just kind of pull out all the stops to make this huge cacophony of rock sound when the fire was happening, which is, I totally like to do that, obviously, because I did it twice in a row. But then the last part, I kind of started thinking about if that happens to someone and they don't have the resources, in essence, to rebuild or reclaim the life that they have, that we're not very far away, each of us, from ending up on the street, of not being able to recover from a disaster like that. And in my mind, I'm picturing, being around, a fire and an oil drum, like we've pictured the hobos from past. But these people who had everything, and then that now they have nothing left, right? Because of one incident that happened. So that's sort of how it morphed into that. And then the first song that we played before that was called The Island, based on the element of water. I wanted to do a song with two different stories being told at the same time, or two different viewpoints of the same story. So the idea is that these two people, a man and a woman, ended up somehow being marooned on this island, and he was totally in love with her and thought it was the greatest thing. It's like, oh, it's just the two of us and we'll have kids. It'll be fantastic. And he's just, rhapsodizing. What's that word? It's like his utopia. And so he's saying, these words and lines about that. While at the exact same time, she's oblivious of that, thinking, oh my God, this horrible thing has happened to us. We're on this fucking island with nothing. It's like, do I see a ship out there? Is there a plane somewhere? God, I sure hope we get off this island soon, because I don't even have any friends here. And he's talking about, it's paradise for us. So I tried to record them and the EQ them differently, so it kind of sounded like some different people. I probably should have recorded it, someone else singing the woman's part, but I just did both of them on my own. And once again, I put in that instrumental rockin' part to kind of break up the song. And actually, I ended up performing that song live once at the Amnesia Bar here in San Francisco. I think with Erin Brazil. I think she did the other part, just with acoustic guitars, and maybe she played some keyboards. I'm not quite sure about that, but I've always been sort of proud that at least I recreated that live once. And who knows, maybe it'll come back again. We have time for just a few more. Here's one that I wrote that's called Red Rover, about a girl that I knew that I had a huge crush on. And so I wrote this song, and I put in a bunch of hints and riddles in the song if someone could sort of figure out and tie them all together who it might be about. But no one has so far, at least they haven't told me. I wanted to use this distorted keyboard sound that I had come up with for a really nice driving song. And so that's what I did. I really want to somehow recreate this live with a band one day, but I haven't figured that part out. But this is called Red Rover.
The street, she's looking good, she's looking sweet, she's thinking I wanna take him home, I wanna make him happy, I wanna make him moan. Here I stand, standing on the street. No, I ain't no dancer, not with two left feet. No, she's the rider, no, she knows my song, thinks about me sometimes, but not for very long. Man, the boys, they all fall over, say send her over, red rover. He's seen her around his town, caused a sensation and it ain't gone down. Saw her where she's sitting and it's blowing line. Man, that girl looks good, that girl looks fine. Said she even got him to go 4 times. Swimming in the river, floating in the rhymes. Man, the boys, they're all over. Say send her over, red rover. She's my little speed queen, dropping it around. Always getting nasty, always getting down. Has to have it her way, rocking on the bed. Back door, front door, always well fed. I take her down to Dick's to get some double beef. She sees old goofy Johnny, that bad old booty beef. My baby knows the score when I have veggie fries. She gets a double head and she gets the super size. Red Rover, Red Rover, Red Rover. up in Santa Fe, she's the other one. Comes from the country where the West was won. I'm doing my time, I'm doing my best, and I'm hoping the good Lord will do the rest. 'Cause she's out of reach, she's out of time, swimming in the river, floating in the Rhinos River. Swimming in the river, floating in the Rhinos River. Swimming in the river, floating in the Rhinos River. Swimming in the river, floating in the Rhinos River. Swimming in the river, floating in the Rhinos River.
Poor baby. Take it easy. You work too hard, baby. Just leave everything to me. I'll get your coffee, strong and black. I'll use my fingers to rub your back. I'll type your letters just the way you need. I'll use the phone to drive away the people who have nothing to say. I'm yours to have in every word and deed. I'll clean your desk, I'll clean your room, I'll put the shine on that spittoon. I'll close the blinds so you can take a nap. I'll make the copies bright and clean. I'll fry the bacon nice and lean. I'll wipe up spills that fall into your lap. I'll lock the door so you can see a part of you that needs to be a part of me, lying on the floor. I'll take it out, I'll do it well. I know you'll buy what I will sell. I know you want me just like this and more. I'll take you home, I'll meet your wife. With my hands, I'll end her life. Don't speak a word, there's nothing more to say. The kids you see will have to go. I can't leave them to steal my show. Now you know I'll never go away. I'm the secretary from hell. I'm the secretary from hell. There's that damn phone again. Hello, who is it? Secretary from hell. Secretary from hell. Secretary from hell. Secretary from hell. Secretary from hell.
That last song is called Secretary from Hell, which is kind of self-explanatory. A relationship between a boss and his secretary, and things got a little out of hand, and well, someone's got to die, so y'all just be careful there. Yeah, that was a while ago. I always found that particularly funny and strange. And there it is. And there it is for you. And before that, we had the song Red Rover. Well, you've been listening to the Johnny Tripod Happy Hour. I'm your host, Johnny Tripod. Thanks for tuning in. I'm on every Wednesday, 5 p.m. Pacific time. First Wednesday, a new episode. You've been listening to KTLC, The Lost Church Free Radio, at thelostchurch.org/radio. Y'all be safe out there. Talk to you next time.